Hello everyone and welcome back to Bumble Stitches. My name's Nicola and this is my Flosstube. Today is Sunday the 19th, just checking my notes, 19th of February, and I hope you're all well. This is episode 37, so thank you all for joining me today. As you can see, we are back in the conservatory. It's actually quite a nice day today. Alfie and I went out for our walk this morning and it caught me out. I put my coat on and it was actually really quite warm, so it's nice to get that feel that spring is in the air at last. Well, I hope you've all been well since I saw you last. Quite a few things have happened, but first of all, of course, a big warm welcome back to returning subscribers, and an extra special welcome if this is your first time joining me today. I hope you enjoy the video. A really exciting thing happened since I saw you last. I actually went over 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which was amazing. I'm so happy to have reached that milestone, and that there are so many of us now in our little Bumble Stitches Flosstube community. I didn't write down the facts and figures, but just for fun I was having a look at if we were to all be together in one place where we could fit as a crowd, if you like, and we would fill the sorry, I jiggled the camera, we would fill the Royal Albert Hall in London twice over, and we would fill the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden I think 5 times over. But if we were at the O2 in London, we'd only half fill the venue, so we'd need to go quite a bit to do that one. But I think it's about 20,000 people that holds. So Liz from Lisbeth Ann Can Stitch, if all her subscribers got together, could certainly fill up the O2 in London. So just a few little silly facts and figures for you there. So, as I said, I hit the 10,000 subscribers, which I was very excited about. So a warm welcome if you have joined us. I had planned to come back a little bit sooner, but things got in the way. I had a whole weekend decorating, painting and putting up new blinds and things like that in our family bathroom. So that it was one of those jobs where I thought, oh, that will be okay. It will just be a day and I'll Flosstube on the Sunday. Well, it just literally took the whole weekend. So I think those jobs always do, don't they? You think you're going to get done and yeah, it just takes over. So that left me feeling a bit exhausted, and that was hotly followed the next week by a really nasty sort of coldy flu thing. So I was actually off work for a couple of days. Yeah, I'm really sort of snuffly and headachy and generally not feeling great at all. But I did manage to spend some time with some stitching while I wasn't feeling well. I just did some nice relaxing stitching on my Prim Stitch series, which I'll show you in a little while. Now, Alfie isn't with us today. He's really tired after his walk. He's with his dad in the lounge, just relaxing. They're having a little boys' afternoon. As you can see, apologies for the backdrop isn't the prettiest. I noticed when I started recording, there's a paint can just there that sits on the table and waiting. There was a little bit of paint in the bottom of the can, and I've left it out there to try and dry it out so I can actually throw it in the rubbish bin, because you cannot take, this is really interesting Flosstube content, I realise, you cannot take tins of paint to the local recycling centre. They won't accept them at all, and you have to if you're going to put them in your rubbish bin, you have to make sure that they're completely empty, or that there's any paint in it's dried out. So that's why that's sat there. I would have moved it if I'd realised before, but I sat down and it's there. And the rest of the garden, well, Alfie has been remodelling into his interpretation of a post-apocalyptic landscape, and he's doing a fantastic job. So the garden is in a bit of a sorry state, but it's nice and bright, and I thought it'd be nice to sit in here, and it's good for showing the colours and the pieces that I'm going to share with you today. I'm just having a little look down at my notes to see what we're going to do next, and I hope I don't ramble on too much. I'm also just going to point out, I know this looks really like this, I picked this top up, it's a new top. I thought it'd be quite Valentine's-y, and I realise it really does look like a pyjama top, but it isn't. my pyjamas. It is actually just a regular top, but not that it would matter if I was sitting here in my PJs, but I just didn't want you to think that I hadn't made that little extra bit of effort for you today. Okay, I am rambling on a bit, so I'm going to share some of the things that I've been working on since I saw you last. And I don't unfortunately have any finished objects or FFOs, but I do have some whips. So let's get right on with those now. Now the first whip that I have been working on is part of the Be Mine stitch along, which is from Fat Quarter Shop, and it's running all this month of February. There were a couple of patterns. One was a free download, which I'm going to share with you in a second, and the other is a mystery stitch along, but they're encouraging you to stitch any Valentine's themed project as part of the Be Mine sale. So my project is this one, which is Love You More, and as I said, this is a free PDF download. You can pop along to Fat Quarter Shop and download this really cute little pattern. It only uses 3 colours of floss. It's quite a, well, I say it's a quick stitch. It isn't, it's deceiving. There's quite a lot of fill in there, but it's not a difficult stitch. It's all full crosses. You can choose your fabric, whichever you want, suitable for Ada or linen, and just a really cute design. So I am stitching mine on a piece of 36 count fibre on a whim in the colourway Parchment, and that's quite an accurate colour representation there. You can see I've done some outline, a bit of fill-in, gone a bit all over the place really, as you can see, but it's a really pretty stitch, and I'll just see if I can get that in a little bit closer so you can see. Apologies for the shadows there. And because I'm stitching it on a 36 count, it's coming up a little bit smaller than the design. I think they stitched the model on a 14 count Ada. The finished size would be just under 6 1/4 by 7 inches, but mine is going to be a bit smaller, and I haven't decided yet whether this will sit in a frame or finish as a pillow. Now the flosses that I'm using, I've gone a bit fancy for this one. I'm using the classic Colourworks Belle Soie silks in these 3 gorgeous shades. This is the first time I've used these, and these are absolutely beautiful threads to stitch with. So the colours that I have got here are, this one is Porcelain Pink, this one is Sister Scarlet, and this one here is Icing. And as you can see, they are such pretty colours. I wanted to go for a more vintage vibe than the model. The model's quite modern looking on the grey, but I thought by putting it on the Parchment fabric and using a slightly more muted palette of threads, it would give it more of a vintage vibe. And there's some really nice, it doesn't look too much variegation in the flosses when you look at them on the skein. As you can see in the stitching, there's actually quite a lot of variegation, which I really like. And I'm stitching this 1 strand of the silk floss over 2 strands of linen. So that's my first work in progress, and I've been really enjoying that. Alfie's been, he's a little bit upset really, because I have got a new stitching spot in my lounge. I don't know if you remember me telling you, unfortunately last year my Auntie Tina passed away, and she had in her lounge a really lovely chair that had belonged to my nan, and it's a really old fireside chair. It's probably from the, I'm guessing sort of 30s, 1930s going into the 1940s, looking at the style of it, and she'd had it all reupholstered, really a nice job of having it reupholstered, and she was so fond of it that actually nobody was allowed to sit in the chair when it was in her house. Only one of my aunties, who's of very small build was allowed to sit in it, because she said the rest of us were our bottoms were too big and we weren't allowed to sit in the chair. So but anyway, my cousin asked me if I would like the chair, and I jumped at the chance. So it now sits in my lounge and is my stitchy chair, and it means that Alfie can't get on my lap and interfere with my stitching, and he's really a bit put out about it, but it does mean I'm getting a little bit more stitching done, rather than on the sofa where he can just, you know, jump all over me and grab the floss and do all the naughty things. So yeah, that was really it's really special to sit in my Nan's and Tina's chair and get on with my stitching. So I thought I'd share that with you. Let's move on to my next whip, and this is a big one, and this is, I've got the end in sight now. I'm just going to clip it to the board, and I'm really gunning for a finish now. You've seen this before. It's like an old friend, isn't it, that turns up every time. And this is the Prim Stitch series by Laurie Holt, and it was published through Fat Quarter Shop. So as you can see, last time I shared with you, I was over here on block, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, counting, block 9, which I have now finished. Very, very pleased about that. I've taken the border, or part of the border, all the way down, so I've got the complete grid. And I have now got, let's just move it up a bit so that you can see it's not trailing off the bottom. I have now got block 10 complete, which is this one here with the cat. He doesn't have his whiskers on yet because I'm going to leave that, because it's quite a long stitch, and I'm going to leave that till the end so it doesn't get caught while I'm working. And I've made a start on block 11. Now, as I said, I did do some stitching while I was feeling poorly, and this is what I stitched on because I didn't need my magnifier. I could just sit in bed. I was watching Happy Valley. I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's a crime series. There have been 3 seasons of it, and I was a bit late to the party, and I'm sure lots of you have enjoyed watching it. But I sat and watched Happy Valley and stitched on my Prim Stitch series while I was feeling sorry for myself in bed. And it's weird, isn't it? Because to me, this particular block is just, it's got Happy Valley stitched into it. And I know with other projects, like my Anniversaries of the Heart, one of the blocks in that is The Handmaid's Tale. So, you know, I don't know if you're the same as me and you really associate things that you've stitched with something that you were watching or reading or listening to at that time. But I'd love to hear if there is something particular that you have that association with one of your pieces. So do let me know in the comments. But I'm blaming it on the fact that I wasn't feeling great, but I've made a bit of a boob in this one. The sunflowers shouldn't be touching this part of the border, but I can live with that. They fit. And my cat has had a little bit of surgery, had a bit of a tummy tuck. His tummy should have been a little bit lower, but yeah, I had to lift his tummy up a tiny bit, just 1 row of stitching to make him fit because I'd gone wrong somewhere. But of course, with all these things, if if I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't notice. And I'm sure in years to come, no one's gonna berate this piece because the cat's had a tummy tuck and the sunflowers are a little bit too tall. So I've moved now on to block 11, and this was a lunchtime cast stitch, but this has now made its way. This has hit the big time now. This comes into the house of an evening and gets some work as well because I'm that close and I really, really need to get this finished. I'll just quickly share with you, if you haven't seen it before, if you're a new subscriber and you haven't seen my Prim Stitch series a million times, you might be interested to see what I'm using. The fabric I'm using is the 25 count Lugana. I believe it's mushroom, and the block I'm stitching on at the moment is this one, which is Gratitude and Grace, with the 2 pairs, and these are all individual patterns, but Fat Quarter Shop does have a PDF that you can download that shows you how to do a border all the way around and make it one piece, because I do plan to make this into a wall hanger when it's finished, which will be soon. The final pattern will be this one, which is Hands and Hearts to God. A little bit of glare there. So that's going to be the last one. And I do need to revisit block number 4, which is Kindness and Generosity, which I mistakenly thought was a scarecrow, but it's actually a farmer. And I don't know if you can see there, I've actually missed off one of the quilty stars, which just needs to go in there. And a little bit of repair work on the bottom of the shepherdess's dress there, where I noticed a little bit of a wonky stitch and started to pull that out. So the end is in sight for Prim Stitch series, and I am very much excited about that. Flosses I'm using are the Prim Orifloss box that was designed for this project, and also for quite a few others as well. It's a bit of a nest in here. If you're not familiar, Orifloss is the floss that's on spools. I've got all my little extra bits there. But there's going to be plenty left over. There's only one I'm a little bit concerned about, and it's this one, which is Cloud. And you can see we are down to the wood, and I've got quite a lot of border to do, and the hand in Hands and Hearts to God is done in that colour as well. So I did do a quick Google, and I couldn't see anyone in the UK that sold that colour in Orifloss. So I'm just gonna, I think I'll use the rest of what I've got to do the border, and then if I did the hand in like a DMC 3865 or something like that, I think I'll get away with it. So that is Prim Stitch series. I'm going to put that to one side. And something just came out of my bag that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to mention some Flosstubers that I've been enjoying later. But one, and I just need to refer to a list I've got on my iPad, which were, now who was it? It was Unfinished Stitches, which is Bonnie and Madison. And they were showing how they've got cute little tins. I think theirs were from Ruby Star Society, which I'm going to have a little look to see if I can pick one of those up. But they had a little tin with their, and this is not rocket science, but again, just a great simple idea, especially when there are pets around or small children or whatever. And yeah, with an inquisitive Jack Russell, I need to keep needles and pins and scissors well out of the way. And this is just a little tin that my friend Paula of the Snail Garden and Eva Faith on Etsy popped in my advent, and it's got a lovely little bee on with the tulips, a gorgeous little bee on the back, really, really pretty. And in here I'm keeping, and everything's stuck to it of course because it is magnetic. I should have taken the orts out. I'm throwing orts in here as well, so it's really, really handy. I've popped the needle minder on the lid of the tin with the needle that I'm using, so that's nice and safe. And then in here I've just popped the scissors that I'm using, some spare needles, and my little Laurie Holt unpicker. And yeah, as I said, I'm going to try and get another couple of cute little tins and just make up. So I've got loads of pairs of scissors, loads of needle minders, and I thought I can just keep one in my handbag, keep one in the car, keep one with a project. You know, I think it's just a really good idea, and they showed that they were doing that. So thanks to those girls for that. Brilliant idea. And my next whip that I've been working on, now I've got all the orts stuck to everything, I'm going to pop them over there. This one is, I need a board. Let's just pinch the board from Love You More and pop this on here. And this is the drum that I'm working on from Heartstring Samplery. And I'll just grab the pattern and the flosses so I can share with you. So I can't remember the name of it. It's the 5 Songbirds pin drum from Heartstring Samplery, and it was the colours of this piece that drew me to it. I love the aquas and the reds, and obviously the sort of fleshy pinky colours. Obviously we've got Eve there with waving her apple around enticingly, but I just thought it was really, really pretty design. So I made a start on this, not much of a start, but it's a start, as you can see there. And the fabric that I'm using is, I think the pattern calls for a 32 count, and that's what I am using. It's another fibre on a whim. I'm really enjoying their fabric, and it's 32 count affogato. I'll just hold that there for you. So that's the fabric that I'm using. I'm using all the called for flosses, which are classic Colourworks. They're a bit raggedy. Tennessee Red Clay, Tropical Paradise. We've got in there quite a few Weeks Dye Works and a couple of DMCs. So a really pretty colour palette, as you can see there. So that is something that I've been really enjoying. I've also got some Lady Dot Creates chenille trim in barn door for finishing the drum when that's complete. And I'm going to keep the bag that it's in until I do my haul, because I'll share that with you then. Okay. Now the next thing I wanted to talk about is some Flosstube that I've been watching, and as I mentioned, I was feeling poorly. I absolutely devoured Happy Valley and also quite a lot of Flosstube as well. And there are some channels here that you may be familiar with. Not all of them are brand new, but some of them are new. So I've made a little note here, and I will link them down below as well, so that if you want to go and check them out, you can. So the first, as I mentioned already, is Unfinished Stitches, and that's Bonnie and Madison. And Bonnie also has a super cute dog called Apollo that featured on one of the videos I was watching this morning. I've only watched a couple of episodes so far, but they have some amazing stitching going on. They are really good together, a really good chemistry. I do enjoy a Flosstube with two people. It's nice to see, isn't it? And when there's that connection between them as stitchy friends, or if it's a mum and daughter or sisters or whatever it is, it's just really enjoyable. It's a totally different vibe when you're just sitting here talking to your phone. So I've really been enjoying those. They seem to stitch on Ada from what I can see. So great if you want some inspiration. You can see it doesn't stop them stitching all the things. They do some absolutely beautiful work over there on their channel. The other Flosstube, well, there's quite a few. The next one that I've been watching was Nicole Spohr, and I think she's been around for a while with card making and quilting, but been Flosstubing for the past year, I think she said. So that's another one worth watching out. And she's also doing the Be Mine Stitch Along with Backwater Shop, so do check her out. A new one for you now, and that's the Hygge Stitcher, and that's Samantha, and I think she's in Canada. I'm sure she said she was in Canada, and again, some fabulous work from her. I think she's got a couple of videos out now, so check along and give her some support, and a big welcome to Flosstube. The next one is a duo that won't need any introduction. They have absolutely hit Flosstube and taken it by storm, and that is Shelley and Liz, the Antique Needleworkers. And those girls have just got some amazing projects, amazing haul, amazing FFOs. It's set in a beautiful mill, and I think there's a tour of that which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. So as I said, they don't need an introduction from me. I think everybody's been watching them, and well deserved. So just thought I would let you know about them in case you haven't seen them. Of course, Jessica from Sweetwater Stitcher, I've been enjoying her channel immensely recently as well. Again, she is a prolific stitcher, some really amazing things that she's stitching on. So do go and check her out if you haven't been already. My lovely Christy at Crosshatch Quilts, who is one of my absolute favourites, she's got a video out this weekend, some really cute footage of her beautiful French Bulldog pups at the beginning frolicking in the snow, which was really enjoyable. And Christy just does some amazing stitching, so do go and give her a little watch and a little bit of extra love. The next is another stitching duo. I told you I'm really liking these duos at the moment, and this is Jen and Sarah, and they are Stitchy Friends on YouTube. I've recently discovered them. I can't actually remember off the top of my head if they are new. I don't think they're brand new, but certainly new to me, and I've really been enjoying them. They have got the most amazing project bags. They have some fantastic hauls, some fantastic stitching, and again, really good chemistry between them. A really enjoyable watch. Next one is Lauren, and she is the New Hampshire stitcher. Again, a new Flosstube. I think she started off with a whip parade and then a finish parade, and now she's into her episodes proper. And she is a very talented stitcher, a natural to Flosstube, is stitching some wonderful designs, and I'm looking forward to her next video. Another brand new one, well the next two, the final two are also brand new to Flosstube, and that's Deborah at Kensington Cross Stitch. Deborah has some fantastic work that she's been showing. She also did a whip parade to get kick-started on Flosstube. She's got some really cheeky cats that join her sometimes on her Flosstube, and I think you would enjoy checking her out as well. And my final one is Kate from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. She has started a Flosstube channel as well. Kate does dye linen and Ada here in the UK, and I'm really lucky that I have joined her Fabric of the Month club, which I think I'm going to be starting in March, so I'll be sure to share that with you when it arrives. I'm quite excited about that. So those are some new and maybe not so new Flosstubers that I've been really enjoying. Of course, I've still been watching all the other ones, all our favourites. I've been watching Carol at the Saltbox Stitcher, Brenda and Laura. I've been watching Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. I've been watching so many, and really enjoying it, and just ever thankful to be part of this community. Okay, so I will move on now to some stitchy plans, and I've put everything on top of something that I wanted to share with you. So let's have a look at some stitchy plans, and it sort of kind of will merge into haul and happy mail as well. But I will have to pause and change over the things on the table here for the things that you can't see that are the other side of the camera. Okay, so coming up in March is the Bountiful Stitch Along and Quilt Along with Fat Quarter Shop. And as I mentioned last time, this is their annual charity event to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And they do support their local Make-A-Wish Foundation in, I think it's Central and South Texas. And they've granted so many wishes through the kind donations from stitchers and quilters that have joined in with the projects over the years, and they do sometimes share those little videos of the children receiving their wishes, which is really heartwarming. Before I continue, I did have a comment last time that I mentioned it. Somebody had commented that they felt it was a shame that Fat Quarter Shop were only donating money to their local Make-A-Wish, and that it wasn't going to Make-A-Wish foundations, because I know there's certainly one in the UK. I'm not sure if they're all over the world. What I would say to that is, yes, I can totally see that point. I do think obviously because they are based in Texas that it would be only natural for them to want to support the children of the families that are around them and in their area, and it is a wonderful thing to do. But of course, feel free if you want to donate to a Make-A-Wish Foundation that's local to you. Of course you can do that, but they do ask that you support their Just Giving page for Make-A-Wish if you want to download the free Quilt Along or the free Stitch Along patterns. And they have just reached a milestone. I think it was $20,000 or $28,000. Forgive me if I've got this wrong, but they release more information as they hit milestones to get towards the total that they want to donate. And the recent milestone means that they've released the all the information about the stitch along. So I have received my supplies, and they're in this gorgeous bag. It's a big bag because it's designed for the quilt along and the stitch along. So it's one of their lovely mesh bags. It says Fat Quarter Shop on the little leatherette tag there, and this is the Bountiful design, which is really cheery. Now I'm going to show you the supplies that I've got in here. Now I've gone partially with the suggested, and then I've gone a little bit off-piste as well. And I know that when I was watching Nicole Spohr, she showed her fabric and floss choices, which are beautiful. Now let me just move that, and then we can get, sorry for the crinkling. Okay, so the supply, this is available now on Fat Quarter Shop, so you can see here what the design will look like. It's a, obviously this is the cross stitch, but there's also a quilt, and it was designed by Corey Yoder, and it gives you all the floss choices there, and it gives you options for classic colourworks, which the model was stitched in, and also it gives you DMC equivalents, and obviously all the information that you need. I think it's 131 stitches square, this design, and really beautiful. So you can go ahead and make your donation and download this if you want to start with us stitching along in March. I think it's going to be split into 6 sections, with a piece of the pattern released every month. And I have got the beautiful classic colourwork selection of called for flosses in this specially produced Bountiful box, and it's so cute, and it says in there, bountiful, to be given and provided abundantly, and that's what we're hoping to do for Make-A-Wish. And I have got all my classic colourworks flosses in here. I'll get them out so that I don't tip the box forward and throw them out. And you also get, if you buy the floss pack, it comes with this little chart here showing you all the colours. And I have got all of there's a couple of skeins of some of these, because there's obviously the border takes up quite a lot. This is Sunset, and then we have, I think we've got 2 of Shrimp Cocktail, and then we have Goldfish, which is this one, and Cobbled Peach. Beautiful shades. Then we move into the, well, we've still got an orangey one. This is Tahiti Orange. I think this is one of the newer colours from Classic Colourworks. And Crushed Pineapple, a pale yellow. Fancy Green Nancy. Love that name. Love that green as well. It's one of my favourite shades of green. And Frozen Margarita. You can see how gorgeous these colours all are. And then through to the blues, we have Betty Bluebell. Got some really nice variegation in that skein. Deep Blue Sea. It's such a lovely colour palette. Mermaid's Fin, which is a deep blue. And Snowball, which is a bright white. And the model that they stitched is stitched on a pale grey gingham 14 count Ada by Fabric Flair. I have gone a little bit off-piste with my fabric choice, and I'm using this check Lugana, and this is Bumble Check. It's a 32 count, so I've gone up a little bit, or down a little bit in my size of fabric, which will make it a little bit smaller. But I really enjoyed the way these colours, I'm going to try and pop them on here. I'm going to be all cat-handed now, aren't I? I'm going to try and pop some of these colours on here so you can see just how beautiful they look. Can she hold it all up? and I think that's going to work really, really well. I'm very excited. I particularly like how the sunset looks against that. So that's me all ready. As I said, I am stitching along, and I've got a little sort of sneaky peek so I can get ready. So I might start stitching the border sooner rather than later, so that I don't fall behind with the stitch along. But please do consider going along and making a donation and joining in with us, or quilting along, whatever's your jam, or both. If you know, I mean, I would love to have the time to quilt along as well, but I'm really happy to be joining in with this stitch along. So that's bountiful. I'm just going to pop this all back in its bag. Moving along now to some other plans that I have for my stitching in the next month. I had to go and pick up a few things from the shops on my way home from work on Friday night, and I accidentally fell into Hobbycraft on my way to M&S, and they had all the Easter things out. I'll show you some bits that I picked up in haul, but of course that just flicked the switch in my head and thought, oh, I need to be stitching spring, I need to be stitching Easter. So of course I do have a whip. I've got a whip for almost every occasion, it would seem. Living in this lovely bee bag, and I have got my Harrietta & Co. from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I'm going to pop that out the bag so you can see. And this, I think I started it last spring. There she is, super cute, Easter bunny, gingham pinafore. What's not to love? Absolutely stunning. And my progress isn't great. It's a bit crunkled. I didn't iron this one, so you have to forgive the crunkles, and the needle minder's made even more of a crunkle. But if I can just rescue this board, let's move that over there, rescue this board and pop Harrietta on here to show you. And I think if I pick her up again and give her some love, I may even be able to get a finish in time for Easter. So again, it's the fill-in. Sometimes I love the fill-in because you don't have to think about it, and you can just sit and watch TV or a film and just stitch away and not have to worry about messing up or checking your chart all the time. And other times I just wish there was like a fill-in fairy that came along and just filled in all those stitches for you, so you could get on to some of the other detailed stuff. So that's my progress. I'm stitching with all the called for, I believe, and yeah, I seem to remember there's quite a lot of flosses for such, you know, for a relatively small chart. There's quite a lot of flosses. Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colour Works, Gentle Arts, they're all in there. So it'd be nice to get back to that one and try and get a finish for Easter. And I'm on a mission to get some more smalls done, and you'll see why when I share my haul with you. So that's Harrietta & Co. She's coming back to play with us all again, and I'm making a really big mess here. And a couple of charts, I'm going to take these out of the bag so they don't reflect. I was looking through my stash, and a couple of charts were just begging to be looked at for Easter. This one doesn't want to come out of its packaging. The first one is Madam Cottontail, which is by With Thy Needle and Thread, with this really lovely primitive, I don't know if she's a hare or a bunny. I'm assuming Cottontail, I'm assuming she's a bunny. She's quite cute though. She's quite small. She's 66 stitches. I'm looking at the back of the pattern. 66 wide by 121 high. I wouldn't stitch it as the pocket. I think the pocket is really cute. I would probably stitch it as a little pillow. So that one is definitely calling to me at the moment. And the other one is from Hands On Design, and it's the Chalk Full Hip Hop, which bunny's heads in a jar. Sounds wrong, but super cute. So love those designs. Just don't like stitching on black very much, but maybe it would work on another fabric. Maybe if I made brown bunnies and stitched it on, I don't know, I might have to have a little think about that. It could work, but super cute. Love both of those. So that's what's on my immediate radar for, along with Bountiful, for moving into March. Obviously March is a big month for all of us because it's the Nashville Needlework Market. It's also my birthday month, so I'm thinking I might combine those two things and see if I can get some charts pre-ordered as part of my birthday present. So I'll have a little chat with Justin later, I think. Okay, so we've looked at all of my whips and some plans. We've spoken about some Flosstubers. I need to talk to you about some giveaways and some happy mail and some haul. Yes, so I think I will just pause there for 1 second, grab the things I need to share and be right back in a moment. Back in a flash. Well, I have quite a few things on the table here to show you. When I say table, it's actually an ironing board, but for the purposes of you not being able to see it, it's a beautiful wooden table. I was very lucky to receive some goodies from our lovely friends at Fat Quarter Shop once again, so thank you very much for sharing those with me. It's much appreciated, and I will share those with you now. I'll run through, and of course you can pick any of the items I show up at Fat Quarter Shop itself if you're in the US, or if you want to order internationally. Their shipping is really quick and quite reasonable too. Or you can pick up some of the Fat Quarter Shop products here in the UK from So Hot UK and also from the Stitchery in Dorset, and I will leave links to both of those online stores down below in the description box. So let's kick off. First of all, a beautiful needle minder from Laurie Holt, and this is one of her Bee in My Bonnet. This is the pink bee, really cute. There's been a yellow one so far. I see a theme might be coming. Maybe there's other colours. Maybe an aqua one would be really pretty, Laurie, if you're listening. Next, from Laurie's range as well, is the Gingham Love Thread Bling. And how cute is this? So I hope you can see it. This is one of these sort of like book binding rings that we all use for our flosses, with a gorgeous little enamel heart charm with the gingham background. Super cute. I think I might pop my classic colourworks on for Bountiful onto this. I think they will look super pretty. So that's available now as well. And also this gorgeous aqua again, Prim Village bag charm. You can put it on a bag, you can put it on, what else could you put it on? On your keys, on your handbag, wherever you wanted. It's just super cute. So those are some new notions available, and they have generously sent me quite a few charts. I've got a selection of charts here which we will spin through now. The first is number 1 in a series of 12, and this is Laurie's Chicken Club, and this is Cornelius, and he's a handsome fellow with his little chick, his son I assume, following him along. And this is all charted for DMC. So gorgeous, lovely, typical Laurie colours, absolutely fabulous. The next they sent me is Lady Claus, and she is part of the Stitch Quarterly, which is a club you can join, and you get a pattern, and I think you get a bag normally and some other notions, and I think you might get the, I don't know if you get the fabric and the floss, I have to double check, but it's a Stitch Quarterly club. So this is now available as a standalone chart. Lady Claus, again, all charted in DMC, so super affordable to chart up. The next is a quilt pattern, and this is called Luminaries, and this is an It's So Emma chart, and I saw this on, I think it was on Nicole Spohr when I was watching this morning, and she had this particular chart quilt pattern as well, and she was saying how nicely this would lend itself to a patriotic colourway, and I think she's right, but I think this would look great in almost any colourway that you chose. They give you really good instructions. This is a 54.5 by 74.5 inch quilt, and they list all the fabrics that they've used on the back and the SKU numbers if you wanted to recreate it exactly. This is another new series. This is the Stackable series, and this is January with those lovely ice skates. That makes me think of Priscilla at Stitching with the Housewives. She's got a tree with all ice skating themed ornaments on, but super cute. Again, all DMC, and I think there's a February one out as well already, so that will be coming out through the year with different themed for the months of the year. The next one is the Sweetheart ornaments. Again, very seasonal for Valentine's Day and for February. And this is a series of, how many are in here? 12 individual designs, and they're finished off in their little, their tart tins, which are available from them as well. And they've just displayed it on that beaded rope there. But you could hang them on a little tree, just finish them as little pillows. They are super cute. And there was a Christmas selection as well. So this is now, again, maybe there's a theme. Maybe there'll be Halloween ones and patriotic ones and all sorts. So that's a great little booklet. And finally, the Be Mine. And this is a Simply Signs. And this is #1 of a series as well. So they've got some really good charts coming up this year to take you through all of the seasons, all of the major holidays. And again, this is in DMC. It just uses 4 shades of pink, and they've stitched it on a light pink 14 count Ada. But of course you can stitch it on whatever you like. But such a pretty, striking, simple design. So thank you Fat Quarter Shop for sharing those with us. Let's pop all these things to one side. And let's move on to some more happy mail that I received, and it was very much a surprise. Now I follow on Instagram Pauline at SewBe Bags, and that's SEWBE. I'll put it along the bottom because you'll need to know about that in a second. And Pauline makes lovely bags, project bags, and she sells them from her Instagram account. And I was very lucky to pick up when she had a sale last week. And she shipped it so fast, I think it came in about like the next day or the day after, super fast. This gorgeous project bag using the Blackbird, I think it's called Threads That Bind, range of fabric. How gorgeous. And you can see on the back as well. And it's got this lovely lace finish here and a beautiful piece of, I think this sort of ribbon is called Petersham ribbon, I might be wrong, and a mother of pearl button on there. Beautifully sewn, lovely detail, attention to detail. And she's lined this bag with a lovely blue and white stripe in there. And I've already got a project that's living in here, and I think she must have liked the look of it because Anne Logan has snuck herself in there. She's ready for a start. So that one looks like it's already a favourite. Now when I received this bag, I thought the parcel felt a little bit bulky for what I'd ordered. I'm just going to pop that over there. And Pauline had put, I'm just trying to find she put a little extra in the parcel. So thank you, Pauline. That was really generous of you and super kind. And she put this gorgeous cupcake bag in the parcel as well. And it's the same fabric on both sides. Again, beautifully sewn, gorgeous colours. The giant rickrack here, which is a lovely addition, and the ribbon with a little spotty flower button. And this one is lined again with the blue and white fabric. And as if that wasn't enough, she also popped in a skein of Tom and Lily hand-dyed floss, and this is in the shade Geranium. So gorgeous. Thank you, Pauline. That was really generous. What I've decided to do is this one is going to be for a giveaway. Obviously Anne Logan's using the other one, so that's staying here. But I thought for today's giveaways we will have Pauline's bag, and I'd like you to use the word, what shall we use? Use the word SEWBE, so SEWBE in your comment, and I'll enter you in the draw for this pretty bag. And the other giveaway will be these two patterns from Fat Quarter Shop, the Sweetheart Ornaments and the Be Mine Simply Signs chart. And for those, if you could please use the word sweetheart, or one word, sweetheart. There have been, as you know, I'm not going to go into it in great detail, there have been some spammers that have been having great fun with Flosstubers accounts and lots of accounts on YouTube that do giveaways. So it goes without saying, please don't use the word giveaway, prize, freebie, anything like that that would trigger those spammers to come and find our comments. You will need to be 18 so that I can ask you for your address. I would like you to subscribe to my channel and like the video. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. Just the usual, you know, the usual giveaway rules. So good luck with those. Now, while we're on the subject of giveaways, we've got a rollover situation. When I was doing my Let's Pretend It's 10,000 subscriber giveaways, I had a little bundle, which is this Laurie Holt library card label pack, a pack of floss bitties, a wonderful cross stitch journal. These are all by It's So Emma and were gifted by Fat Quarter Shop. And I made this bag using a Laurie Holt pattern and Laurie Holt fabrics. And yeah, it's a rollover. It's been called out twice and it has not been claimed. So I'm going to do it again, starting from scratch, seeing as I'm actually now at 10,000. Let's do it, and let's use the word celebrate. So if you'd like to be entered into the draw for this little bundle, please use the word, let me just get rid of that. Hope you can see me, I had a little message come up there. Please use the word celebrate and we will get a winner for this. Okay, right, I was going to share some market releases that have caught my eye, and I'll probably pop those on at the end. I'm just going to quickly whiz through my haul, because my phone was actually telling me that the battery's quite low and I don't want to have to wait for it to charge up again and all that, you know. So anyway, moving on to haul, I got my Laurie Holt Fat Quarter Club fabric through from So Hot UK. I have actually ended my subscription now. It's really user friendly in that you can start or stop the subscription whenever you like, and I'm going to give it a little break for a while. As I said, I've joined Fabrics by Crafty Kate, her Fabric of the Month club, and I can't have all the things. I thought I'd mix it up a bit, so I'm looking forward to that. And I've also joined Teresa Kogat's Patreon. There's one particular chart, I hope you can see that on my iPad, that I do plan to stitch, that was part of the Patreon for February. And she does have some, I think even some of the things that she's got released at market were previously available to her Patreon, so definitely worth checking out. Next thing I bought was something I've been after for a very long time, and looked on Etsy and looked on eBay, and it was all just a bit too much money, but I have bought a dough bowl. So here it is. Justin's a bit bemused. Why do you want an old wooden bowl? What's all that about? But if you know, you know, as they say, and we all know they look fabulous with some small pillows in as part of your sort of displays in your home. This one I did buy here in the UK, so you can see it all the way around. It's really nicely finished. It's rustic but smooth. It's not going to catch in any of my stitching. And I bought this from a company called Willow & Co. And it was very reasonable. It was $29.99, which I think is reasonable. It is. I don't know what wood it's made from, but I'm really pleased with it. And I think it's going to look lovely with some smalls in it. So very pleased to receive that. The next thing I purchased was this gorgeous project bag. I know I don't need any more project bags, but I don't need any more charts either, but I still buy them. This beautiful Laurie Holt patchwork project bag is from Ebony at In Stitches. I will pop a link down below, and I popped a little Laurie Holt calico cherry charm on there. That didn't come with the bag, but I thought it went really well. Patchwork both sides and lined with Laurie Holt, the sort of crochet print fabric. And Ebony has kindly given me a discount code to pass to you. I think when I last checked in her Etsy shop, which I will link, she did have a couple of patchwork bags in there still. Not exactly the same as this. There's a beautiful pastel one and another one I can't remember, and also her project folders and all sorts of loveliness. So do check her out, and you can use the code Bumble15 to get 15% off in Ebony's shop. So thank you for that, Ebony. That was really kind of you, and I am loving this bag. Now, did I mention I accidentally fell into Hobbycraft? I did, didn't I? And while I was in there, being completely immersed in all things Easter, I found this little wooden basket trug type thing. Really inexpensive. This was £5. I'm going to give it a little bit of a sand. It's a bit rough in places, and I'm going to give it a coat of paint and possibly wrap some fabric around the top of the handle, some gingham or something pretty like that, so that I can put some Easter smalls in. Perhaps Harrietta will be finished and she can go in there. I also picked up, while I was in there, gorgeous little bunny in her little Easter outfit. She did have a hanging thing on her head, but I removed that, so she's got a little tiny bit of a hole in her head, but she's super cute. And a bag of multicoloured eggs. Shame there wasn't a yellow in there, I feel, but really pretty. I'm going to cut the hanging things off and they can go in the basket. And they had some fabric carrots. They were quite expensive for what they were, and they were just plain calico. They weren't a colour or a print or anything like that. And then I remembered I'd seen a tutorial on, let me just check on my iPad. I'd seen a tutorial on, sorry, I'm just checking my notes, on Shabby Fabrics YouTube channel. I'll pop a link in down below for a really super simple way to make fabric carrots. So I've been through Stash and pulled out, some of these are from my Laurie Holt Fabric of the Month Club, and I've pulled out some likely fabrics to make some fabric carrots out of. And I picked this up in Hobbycraft for the to replicate the leaves. I might do fabric leaves, I don't know yet, but I've got this as an option, and it can always sit in the bottom of the basket. So that's my those are my plans for some Easter makes, and I think I've just about covered everything I wanted to share with you all. Just double checking. I think that is everything. I will share at the end just a little slideshow of some of the patterns that have caught my eye for Needlework Market. Notably, Brenda Gervais, the Tomato Pin Keep, beautiful, and the Home Sweet Home pillow, really loving that. My favourite, Heartstring Samplery, has done another collaboration with Plum Street, and they have Float Like a Butterfly and Sting Like a Bee. I'm just absolutely in love with those two patterns, so they are a must for me. Stacey Nash has knocked it out of the park with her little velvet needle books, one in the shape of a parsnip, and Paula and I were discussing this earlier today. How cute. You wouldn't think, would you, that a parsnip become a thing of cuteness and beauty, but Stacey Nash has done it. And also there's a little tangerine as well. I don't think my finishing skills are anywhere near good enough to do those justice, but they are beautiful eye candy. Scarlet House has got a wonderful chart with an alphabet background and a tomato in the middle, which I've definitely got my eye on as well. I want to try and get some tomatoey things going on, perhaps for the summertime. And of course, Teresa Kogut has got some gorgeous releases. There's the, I think it's called Need Something and Flax. it's a little lady sort of pillow, and there's another one about, I can't remember the words, but I'll show you the sampler in the images that follow. So I hope you enjoy looking at those. Do enter the giveaways. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me what you're looking forward to at market. Tell me what things you've been watching while you're stitching and how they got, you know, got worked into your project. And have a lovely, lovely time until I see you all again in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye.